Welcome to Bike Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the KTM Duke 250 versus the Bajaj Dominar 400. Pricing and features. The KTM Duke 250 retails for 1.92 lakh rupees on road Delhi, which is 39,000 rupees more expensive than the Dominar 400 non-ABS costing 1.53 lakh rupees. Both bikes are equipped with rear disc brakes and a slipper clutch. Even the Dominar 400 ABS costs 1.68 lakh rupees, making it 24,000 rupees cheaper than the Duke 250. Performance and tractability. The Dominar seems pretty impressive on the spec sheet with a 125cc bigger displacement, 5 extra horses and 11 extra torques over the Duke 250. But on the road, it just can't beat the Duke. Both bikes take just over 8 seconds to accelerate from 0 to 100 and go on to post top speeds in excess of 140 kmph. The problem with the Dominar is that it has a very weak low end and excessively tall gearing, making it a slouch at lower revs. The Duke 250's low end is also nothing to write home about, but it makes up for it with extra short gearing, making it quicker off the line. But that's just numbers. In terms of feel, the Duke is ages ahead of the Dominar. Duke's glorious exhaust note is proper goosebump inducing material. Dominar, on the other hand, has a very disappointing muted exhaust note which wouldn't be out of place on a 125cc bike and makes it feel way slower than it actually is. Reliability and after sales service. These bikes may look as different as chalk and cheese, but both these bikes are distant relatives of each other. Both of their powertrains are derived from the 390 Dukes. The Duke 250's engine is nothing but a toned down version of the 390, made to fit into the sub 250cc license class in Western markets. The Dominar's mill uses a Desi triple spark head bolted onto the 390's block. As such, neither Bajaj nor KTM has a decent track record for either reliability or service support in our country. Amongst the two, the Duke is bound to fare slightly better on the reliability front, but will lose out big time to the Dominar in terms of maintenance costs and availability of service stations. Fuel efficiency. Owing to its larger displacement and heavier curb weight, expect the Dominar to be 3 to 4 kmph less efficient than the Duke 250 in real-world conditions. Resale and cost of ownership. 5-year-old Duke 200s retail for around 85,000 rupees in the used bike market today. The Duke 250 is expected to hold marginally better resale value than that 5 to 7 years down the line. Dominar 400 on the other hand is bound to retain significantly better resale value than any other Bajaj bike till date. 5-year-old 200NS sells for around 50,000 rupees in the market today. The Dominar is bound to fetch at least 75,000 rupees. Overall, the Dominar non-ABS works out to be just 15,000 rupees or 6% more expensive than the Duke 250 in terms of total cost of ownership. Handling and ride quality. The Dominar just doesn't stand a chance against the Duke when it comes to dynamics. The Duke feels like a precision cutting tool around corners. Its sheer grip, tight body control, lightning quick agility, loads of feedback, and insane flickability around traffic feels like a total contrast against the Dominar. The Dominar feels like a blundering butcher's knife. It feels a bit cumbersome to maneuver around tight bends and tends to dive excessively on applying the front brake. It also doesn't transmit any feedback whatsoever from the surface below. Comfort and ergonomics. The Duke 250 is a noticeable improvement over the 200. The seat is wider and has softer foam as well, but it still isn't even half as generous as the Dominar seating. Dominar's pillion seat is also much more sensible than the Duke's ridiculously tiny unit. Both bikes have a slightly forward-leaning Street Fighter riding position, which can get a bit tiring after a couple of hours in the saddle. Dominar's huge tank and mammoth tank extensions feel a bit intimidating at first, but they get out of the way nicely once on the move. Overall, the Dominar feels slightly more accommodating and comfortable than the Duke. The Duke still feels like it always wants to keep the rider alert and never let him relax while riding. That brings us to the verdict. Like all Bajaj bikes, the Dominar is a thoroughly impressive motorcycle on paper. It has the big bike presence, big displacement, big power, big torque, wide tires, even wider seats. It has an LED headlamp, TFT cluster, slipper clutch, even ABS, all at an unbelievable price of 1.7 lakh rupees on road. That is great value for money, right? Wrong. Disappointment begins when you swing a leg over it as you go for the test ride. Thumb the starter and it cranks to life, sounding uncannily like a 4-stroke scooter. Tap the gear lever and it clunks notchily with the rider still unsure whether it has really shifted into first. Release the clutch and it engages sharply without much progression and the bike marches ahead provided you had revved it enough not to stall it. As you give it some gas, you are underwhelmed by the lack of acceleration and absence of any encouragement from the exhaust note. Is this really a 400 you think? You take it through the gears and grab the brake for an approaching corner. It dives. You lean in, but the front end is reluctant to follow tight lines due to the excessive rake angle. You curse the designer. You encounter a mid corner bump, but you hardly get any feedback from it either through the handlebar or through the seat. You try to blip and downshift to get the exhaust singing, but the music never begins. You slow down and try to pick it up from 30 kph in fifth, it starts snatching. You coast back to the showroom, press the kill switch, and with it, kill your dream of owning your first 400. Then you get on to the Duke. It feels tight and flickable right from the moment you grab its wide handlebars. It comes to life with an energetic idle which sounds like let's go, let's go, let's go. You blip the throttle and the engine responds with instantaneous urgency, communicating the exact RPM accurately through the exhaust note alone. As you take it through the rev band, each subsequent harmonic of its exhaust frequency gets activated at an interval of 1000 to 1500 RPM, goading you to push it further and further. As a corner approaches and you lean in, it responds with such immediacy that you wonder whether it started turning in before you even made your move. As you get acclimatized to it, you try and push it right up to the rev limiter in every gear until your test ride comes to an end. As you get off the bike, you realize that you have a wide grin plastered on your face, and you wonder if you can ever have so much fun even on a 1000cc inline 4 machine. Do we really need to spell out which bike is the winner of this test?